got rejected from Walmart as a cashier. I have a degree. I went to university for 4 years to get a job. You're telling me I went to university for 4 years to get a bachelor's degree, and I was like, you know what? No, let me get a master's degree. So let me spend 2 more years and pay more money out of pocket. And I can't find a single job that is willing to accept me after all the time and investment that I put into stupid school just to not get paid a singular dime because Walmart doesn't want to accept me as a cashier even though I have a master's degree. Are you kidding me? What is happening with the job market? I have applied to over 500 places. 500 places. That's more than 5 places a day for the past 100 days. I have been applying every single day and no one is accepting me. What is wrong with this job market? How are you guys making money? I need someone to spill me the sauce on how you guys are making money online, because if I wasn't doing UGC for brands on SideShift, I would genuinely be crumbling in the $100,000 worth of debt that I am in. Please, somebody help me. I am begging for your help.
So welcome back to BB TV. So we're going to explore the reason on why these people say that they have went to school, they have gotten their degrees, and they can't even find employment. They have done everything they need to do. They have went and they have gotten their education and they have graduated, but they cannot find employment in their fields. So let's sit back, let's relax, and let's listen on to why these people have went to school, graduated with honors, and can't find employment in their fields. So let's continue.
But like, when did it get normalized for grads to not be able to get jobs out of college? Like, it was a problem. Now it's just, yeah, I've been graduated for 2 years and I haven't found a job. Why is that normal? Why is that not shocking now? Like, it's like people have become desensitized to it. I know people with masters that are struggling to find a job or a well-paying job, and I'm just concerned at how normal it is.
You know what's worse than having a toxic boyfriend or girlfriend? It's unemployment. I literally just graduated from college, and trust me, it is the worst process to go through, especially right now. I literally cannot find a job. I'm telling you, I've literally driven like over 10 million in ARR for like D2C e-commerce brands. I used to be a social media influencer and I have a full data analytics background, but somehow, some way, I literally can't get a job. It's like Mission Impossible, but like part 10, because there's so many parts, and this one is like by far the most Mission Impossible ever, because getting a job right now is literally like winning the lottery, like a 1 in like a billion chance. It's impossible. I'm at a loss for words. I don't understand. You'll never catch me or any man more low than at 21, literally just graduating from college with AI agents and everything in tech going on. Freaking Anthropic is literally displacing me out of a job. Yeah, follow me for the journey.
Was no one gonna tell me that getting a communications degree was basically useless? When I chose my major, I didn't really do that much research about its job market, which sounds really dumb, but I also didn't consider the fact that the job market would be as bad as it is right now. But to be fair, I feel like my counselor also didn't warn me or help me out, and it's really starting to backfire right now. I graduated some time ago and I haven't really been able to even get an interview. I've been applying for so many jobs. But yeah, I started like focusing on like side hustles for the time being, just to kind of keep myself afloat. I've been door dashing, selling stuff on eBay and Depop. I started filing for class actions on Sparrow just to like put a little extra money in my pocket. So if you're in the same boat as me or have been in the same position as me, I need your advice. Like, is my degree useless at this point?
So 60% of last year's college graduates have still not landed an entry-level role. And I get a lot of flack for this, but I graduated in 2008, and it was hard to graduate at that time and find a job. But what you could do, at least at the time, was find a bullshit job. A job that paid you very little, or you worked on tips. A job that you could just find on Craigslist and you would send your resume, or you wouldn't even send a resume, and you would just email an AOL or Hotmail account and meet up with the person, have a conversation, and if you have some personality, be able to convince them to give you a job. The problem now is that even bullshit jobs are hard to find. Very hard to find. Not only that, it's like they've made bullshit jobs very hard to apply for. Like, you have to fill out this crazy application for minimum wage. And, you know, you hear about people all the time on this app that are applying to food service jobs. They're college graduates. They're applying for food service, and they're not even getting a call back. They're applying to minimum wage call centers, and they're not getting a call back. So you have to understand that the economic environment right now, the jobs market, is much more difficult because, one, offshoring has moved a lot of jobs overseas that a lot of entry-level college graduates would normally get, and now they have zero opportunity to actually get those jobs, go in, hustle, slowly build their career, slowly build their resume. They don't have those opportunities anymore. Plus, because of how AI is going to evolve the workplace, and it will impact the workplace. And the problem is, we are not 100% sure how. So a lot of companies out there are not hiring people with zero experience. They're just not. They're not, because they think, and they're more right, that that entry-level job, those mundane tasks that you used to do to build a good reputation, that you used to tell your boss, oh, let me take that off your plate so you can build this good personal brand. They think those are going to be automated first, and that's what we're seeing. So I have empathy for all these people that did everything right, listened to us, and are really struggling right now post-graduation to find jobs. It is tough. It is much, much more tough. But if I can give you some advice and hope, it's going to get better if you still have hope.
The majority of Gen Z is unemployed. Yes, it's true, and yes, that is a ridiculous statement because a lot of us are graduating college at this point. Meaning we were lied to our whole entire childhood, all throughout middle school, all throughout high school, thinking that we are going to get these amazing jobs and we're going to be financially stable and it's all going to work out when we graduate. That is furthest from the truth. I recently graduated college in May of 2025. I do not have one friend that is truly employed with an actual job that their career uses. Like, yes, I have employed friends, like, at normal jobs, like retail, restaurants, things like that, but that is completely different. It is crazy to think that, again, we were just lied to throughout our childhoods because everyone said, okay, if you spend this first, if you make it through elementary school, then you'll go to a good middle school. And then once you make it through middle school and you get good grades in middle school, then you're going to go into high school, and your high school teachers, they are going to teach you how to get into really good colleges. And if you get really good grades in high school, then you'll get into a really good college. And if you get into a really good college, then you're going to get a really good job. And if you get a really good job, you're going to make a lot of money, and you're going to be set for the rest of your life, even though you're probably paying $100,000 a year in college tuition to have this guaranteed good life and guaranteed good job, and that is just not the case. So what's happening to Gen Z? No one is able to move out. I have very specific reasons why I was able to move out, and I will get on with that very soon. But I also do not have one friend that was able to move out because, first of all, the cheapest one bedroom you can find in just about any city is about $2,000 a month, which that is ridiculous. What 22-year-old straight out of college can afford that when we don't have a high-paying job and a high-paying salary? And then when you get to actually apply for these jobs, everything you apply for, when you have a degree, you will get a rejection from. When I was applying to jobs, I saw this time after time after time again. This happened to all of my friends, literally everyone I know. Because of AI, all of these entry-level job positions are being taken over by artificial intelligence. And all of the jobs that actual humans are doing now require like 3 to 5 years of experience. But how are we supposed to get experience if... So with this new generation, we need to find ways to make money on the side. Oh, and again, to go off on this tangent, if you can find any sort of entry-level position, it typically does not have a paycheck. It's commission only. I am a real estate agent, which again, I needed another certification to get after my degree. I don't get a paycheck. It is fully commission. So you either have to have like a CFO or CFA, I don't know, CPA or a master's degree. And that is just not realistic. So we need to be making money other ways to be able to move out and suffice a life as Gen Z. Personally, I do social media to make extra cash as a real estate agent, working solely off of commission. And I make money on the side. It's so random, guys. I make an extra like $200 to $300 a week from this app called Pay Me. It literally just pays you for class action settlements, and then when you go to your PayPal account, you have like an extra $200 to $300 sitting there every single week. It's great. So for example, that pays my grocery bill. Social media pays my rent. And when I do make a paycheck from work, that goes strictly into my savings. I don't know, Gen Z just is cooked, and we need to be smarter about how we are spending our extra time and making this extra cash.
After applying for 324 jobs, getting 9 interviews and 0 job offers, I'm convinced that I'm just destined to be homeless. And the worst part is I am $117,000 in debt because some idiot convinced me that going to school and getting a degree was actually gonna get me. So I don't wanna hear go in person and apply for a resume. Mom, leave me the hell alone, that shit doesn't work. I was talking to one of my friends a couple weeks back, telling him about how bad I was struggling to get a job, and he managed to land a job. He has an associate's degree. How the hell did he get a job before me? But he told me he's been using this app called Sprout, and he's been auto-applying on there. And he applied to over 200 jobs in a week. It took me 4 months to apply for 300 jobs. He did it in a week. So by the time he got to month 2, where he was at 800 jobs, he actually got 2 job offers. So I'm gonna go try that. Seems to be a very trustworthy method. Pray for me, y'all.
Every year I meet graduate students who say, my undergrad degree was pointless, I couldn't even get a job. But when you unpack it, you realize the degree itself was not the entire issue. It was the fact that they treated their major like the entire career plan. In today's labor market, and really like for the past decade, a degree alone rarely guarantees any opportunity, even in strong fields. People really reap the benefits of a degree when they build strategy while they're enrolled. So there are other things you should be doing. You should be getting internships and building a resume of relevant experience before you graduate. You should be building relationships with professors and other people that can open doors for you potentially. And then, probably most important, you should be layering practical skills on top of your degree. So those are things like data analysis, project management, research skills, communication, technical tools, whatever the case may be. and then be able to clearly articulate where you're using your degree to get to in life. Your major is just like one tool. There are other things you should be doing to make yourself marketable.
The economy is so bad, you may as well just chase your dreams. I graduated from a top university with a tech degree, and I still can't find a job in my field, and neither can most of the other people I know. So why not invest more of your time doing something you're passionate about? Making a living off of what you love doing and getting a regular job feels the same level as impossible, so just do something you're passionate about. And even if you can't end up making a living off of it, so what? You're still having fun. Nothing even matters anymore. So many of us are working food service and retail with bachelor's degrees, and we're on a floating rock, so what does it even matter? And we're only on this earth for so long. Do you really want to spend all your time praying to the corporate god, oh, please give me a job, sir? Or do you want to have fun? No, screw that. Find your own meaning in life. Go work your food service and retail job so you don't starve to death, and then do something you actually care about with the rest of your time. That way, when you actually do get a job in your field, you don't wake up 60 years old with your back hurting, regretting that you didn't give a fair shot to the things that you actually do care about in life.
Hot take! If you are a woman and you just graduated college and you still can't find a job, you're going through job interview after job interview, you're applying to hundreds of different roles, and you still can't get a job, you need to listen to this video because I have something that I feel like every woman should know. I was supposed to have been a 2025 grad, and that would have put me into the worst job market that our country has seen, I believe, since the Great Depression. I didn't because I dropped out when I was a sophomore. But what you're doing right now is something that you don't even realize. You're acquiring the skills to do things that a lot of business owners are not good at. You are learning how to outreach to companies. You are learning how to sell yourself. That's what a job interview basically is. On top of that, you're learning consistency because you keep getting denied these different jobs that you're overqualified for, and it's kind of hard to keep going. Like mentally, that's tough. Why not start your own company? Before you scroll past this video, because I feel like it could help you, I really do. All that you have to do is you sign one client. This is like in a content creation model, okay? If I were to be the face of one brand, I sign them for $5,000 per month on a 6-month contract. If I sign 3 of those companies, that puts me at $15,000 per month as a full-time content creator. Not only am I bringing in that $15K every month, but I don't have a boss telling me what I can and can't do. I don't have to ask for PTO, and I'm not sending in job applications without actually seeing some sort of lucrative return from it. My biggest piece of advice to you, I'm 23 years old. I've been doing this since I was a teenager. It absolutely works for me. I've seen it work for hundreds of other women. You can do it too. And the beautiful piece about this is that you're already gaining the skills to be able to do this. Now you just need to package it up and start making money from it. The market right now is a bummer. It really is. But monetize the skills that it's forcing you to learn right now and watch how you end up coming out on top. You can do this. And if you don't quite believe that you can yet, follow along, and I promise here within a few videos, you will believe that you can.
I genuinely understand why it's so hard for Gen Z to find jobs after college. Outside of the job market being cooked, think about how we interact with people versus how the past generations did. College normally was just a giant socializing fest. You would go to parties, you would randomly walk up to people to talk. So by the time you got to graduation, you weren't just walking out with a piece of paper. You were walking out with friends, connections, references. So that way, whenever you jumped into the job market, you weren't alone trying to just go off your degree. You had friends who got good jobs, so they also helped you get into good jobs. You had other friends who had parents who owned companies, so that was another way to get a job. You had professors that you were cool with because you consistently talked to them that were able to reference you to this or that. Versus modern day, we're not as incentivized to be sociable. One, it's very easy to be embarrassed, and there's so much discourse online about how people actually feel, and we're starting to see that a lot of people actually have a lot of nasty thoughts about people, so it makes us not want to take chance with random people in general. But on top of this, back in the day, let's say you were a lonely man or woman who couldn't find love or just make friends. You kind of just had to deal with it, and you had to just go back out there and keep trying until you figured it out because there was nowhere else for you to go. Versus today, there's millions of people online. There's whole niches and communities of people who are just talking about how they're so lonely, how they can't find love, how they can't find friends. So now you have a place to comfort you in your loneliness. So there's no reason where you feel like you need to go and find people to change because there's online communities dedicated to people just like you. You put on top of this, we don't like to go out as much because we don't like to drink. And let's be honest, half the places that you go, like the bars and the clubs and the parties, aren't really all that if you're not drunk. COVID and we were on our phones most of the time when we were supposed to be socializing, so we're a little socially stunted as well. And shit is just like, bro, I'm just not trying to go viral on TikTok for being at a party and trying to walk up to somebody and then they cook me or something like that, and y'all be fake as fuck. It's like, of course people are gonna say those 4 years and all that money for just a piece of paper, because we're only walking out with a piece of paper. Past generations had a whole ecosystem and community once they were leaving college. So of course the job market is going to feel a lot harder when you're trying to do this thing alone. The other generations did not have to do it alone as much as us. And obviously, like I said, the job market is cooked, duh. But I genuinely think us not socializing as much is playing a big role into it being hard for us to find jobs after college. Because as they say, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. If you'd like to see more in-depth videos like this where I talk about topics like this, subscribe to my Alex the Commentator YouTube channel right here, bro. We be going crazy over there. Love.
If you've recently just graduated from college and you can't find a job for the life of you, you're freaked out about the economy, you're freaked out about the job market, and more importantly, you're hearing all of this AI stuff. You're like, what is going on with the world right now? I'm submitting 200 resumes a day on both Indeed and LinkedIn, and I haven't gotten a single interview. Listen up, you are not alone. This was me a couple of years back after I graduated from SDSU. I applied to 2,000 jobs in 2 months over the course of the summer after I graduated. I only heard back from commission-based type jobs. Nobody wants to pay salaries anymore because, especially in terms of white collar, they can just replace the work with AI. And that's the cold, harsh truth. But I'm here to help you guys. Think of it like this video has popped up on your For You page for a reason, to save you. That's what I'm about to do, and I'm about to lead you guys to the glory lands, to where even if 5 years, 10 years from now, AI is a big disruptor in the white collar industry, which we all know it's going to be, even in certain other industries, you're still going to be immune. How can you, one, make a ton of money, and on top of that too, how can you be immune to AI? And I'll just throw this out here as well. You guys don't need to worry about robotics quite yet. I don't think that'll catch up in our lifetime. Even if robotics does catch up to the point where it can do blue collar work like plumbing or electrician work, that's not going to happen for another 60 years, because the exponential growth of robotics is far, far, far behind the exponential growth of AI and AI's capabilities of doing white collar jobs through large language models. So what is the sauce here? How do you guys survive over the next, not even just survive over the next 40 years, 60 years of your life? How do you actually prosper? That's why I'm making this out of the mental programming that your parents and other people in the school system ingrained into your mind. Try to take yourself out of that and have a bird's eye perspective now. Because if you fall back into that programming, our parents, the school system was built in a completely different age, and our parents could walk into any building, hand in their resume, and get a job because that was seen as hard work or them being motivated. That doesn't fly anymore. We all know this. You have to look at non-traditional routes. And this is what I did. So number one, blue collar. I know it doesn't have the prestigious title of I'm an accountant, I'm an attorney, I'm a financial analyst. I know, but that's because it was prestigious in the 1980s when our parents could get those jobs. Now, AI can replace a human with that. So I know it's going to come down to you having to eat your ego a little bit, but the truth is, blue collar jobs, that's all I'm going to say. With AI, blue collar jobs, hourly rates skyrocket, high demand. So it's not a bad route. Now, I get it. If you don't want to do the grunt, dirty work, you don't have to. Content creation and digital marketing, skyrocket. Now, I know some of you are going to sit here and argue and be like, well, AI can do videos just as well. Humans are always going to want to watch humans. Humans are always going to want to watch humans. Yeah, sure, we'll probably occasionally want to watch an AI movie or an AI video on TikTok, but most of the time as humans, as viewers, as an audience, we're going to want to watch a real human, right? And so even when AI does get to the point where it matches the quality and could technically emulate an entire influencer, for example, there's going to be laws in place in the corner of the video or wherever it may be where it says this is a real person. So that's never going to be taken. Content creation, digital marketing, and then bartending, serving. Robotics will never catch up to that either. Those are great routes, people. On top of this, you can find little niches and ways to make money. Like my brother a couple weeks ago showed me this app called Pay Me, where you literally just sign up on the app and you're instantly eligible for a class action lawsuit. I make $200 a week. It goes directly into my PayPal account just from that app. $200 a week. That's my grocery bill right there and a date night a week. So there are cool little ways and all these little apps you can research. I just put you guys on to that one. But cool little ways to make money these days. So don't lose hope.
Like being in your 20s now, we are so different from the 20s that our parents were experiencing and our grandparents, because the economy and things are so different. And I was saying how it's because they had way more capital. They could do a lot more with $40,000 a year. Whereas like now, $40,000 a year, girl, where you living? You're living in a shoebox. And I think like a prime example of this, obviously there's so many people who experience this, is like I have a master's degree. A master's degree I got at 22, and I can't use it because the jobs that are set for this master's degree are being defunded. Public health care. Big shock. I wonder why that's being defunded. What's ironic about it is like education is used as this tool to gain more capital, to move up socially and economically and in class, right? In the past, it has been, if you get a PhD, a master's, and a college degree, you are typically at a standing point that's better than someone who's not in those education brackets, right? Whereas like now, they're blockading education because everything costs so much money. You have crippling student loan debt, and then you can't get a job to pay off that student loan debt. And so I think it's more than just, oh, your parents had more capital. Your parents were able to do a lot with a college degree. It's even the degrees you have now are not useless. I'm not going to say don't get your education. I don't regret getting my master's. But they don't even offer or create spaces for that because everything is like, oh, well, I want 70 hours of experience in this specific thing. Meanwhile, okay, but I did my master's degree and I have 100 plus, God knows 200 plus hours within this realm, but you don't take that because it's not work experience, because I was getting an education and I wasn't working. Does that make sense?
If you graduated college and can't get an entry-level job, here's why. Companies don't hire new college grads into entry-level roles anymore unless you came through their internship pipeline. The traditional path of graduating, then applying to entry-level roles and getting hired and trained is completely dead. Nowadays, if you want a job at a top company, you have to have done the internship first. Because companies have built these entire pipelines where they recruit interns as sophomore and juniors, train them during the internship, and then give them return offers to come in right after they graduate. So when you graduate, all the entry-level type jobs at this company were already filled by the people who were interns. And the only other entry-level options might just be poorly paid administrative roles that still require some experience. This is why so many grads are having trouble finding work or are just ending up underemployed in a job that doesn't require a college degree. It's not that they're not qualified, they just miss the window to get in the right pipeline.
I literally graduated from Princeton in the fall of last year. I'd say like at this point I've applied to like between 500 to like 800 jobs. Mind you, I graduated with a 4.0 GPA that I maintained every single semester and graduated summa cum laude. Like, serious question, who has a job right now? So you're telling me as a Princeton graduate, I was a finance major with a 4.0 GPA, I can't find any job other than as a sales associate at the local Target down my street. Like, it's honestly so crazy when I sit down and think about my life, because I thought going to Princeton, getting the grades, getting the GPA, I'd come out, I'd have my 6-figure job. It's giving delusional. I mean, I'm working my minimum wage job. Like, I'm trying to be okay. I'm trying to like be grateful or whatever. Like a lot of people in the comments will be like, oh, she went to Princeton, she's not struggling, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I'm not like freaking homeless. I had on-campus jobs. I'm working like my Target job. Sure, I mean, I have lots of pennies saved up here and there to fund my occasional like coffee cravings. I have a like side hustle on the side where I play games on this app called Benjamin and redeem like points and cash back for like monetary value. So I guess I just gotta be grateful for the little income that I have coming in. This like really just is a sad and scary time to be alive, honestly.
Friend was depressed when he graduated college in 2023 because he was unemployed for a year and couldn't find a job and was living at home, but it actually ended up being one of the best things for his career. LinkedIn just dropped their 2026 graduate guide, and entry-level hiring is down 6% since last year in the United States. But if you look at the fastest growing job titles for new grads right now, it's actually pretty diverse. AI engineer is number one, machine learning engineer is up there as well, but then you also have like marketing coordinator, business development representative, HR operations, partnerships. So it's basically either you're building AI directly or you're doing something that's super human to human. The LinkedIn post featured a girl named Senna who's 23 years old and is now an AI engineer. And she got this job in an untraditional way where she first graduated and all she could find was a part-time analytics role. But since she was only working part-time, she was able to use that time to apply for other jobs, build skills in AI. And my friend basically did the same thing where he graduated in 2023, couldn't get a job. And so he spent all his time pretty much just using Claude Code, Cursor, building apps and building just these side projects. After a year of just learning and spending his time doing that, he's now an engineer at an AI startup, and he was also getting final rounds at places like LinkedIn for their APB program. The ironic thing is that him being unemployed for a year after graduation was actually a blessing in disguise, because I remember afterwards he was just applying to random jobs just to have something. But if he ended up getting a random job, he would have spent 40 hours per week working on something that he didn't really want to do rather than spending his time building these skills in AI and stuff he was actually interested in, and he would have never had the job that he has now.
If you're a recent graduate and struggling to land a job, it's not just you. The unemployment rate for college grads aged 22 to 27 has climbed to about 5.6%, which is actually higher than the overall unemployment rate. What's going on is that economists are calling this a low hire, low fire market, and so companies aren't really making a lot of hiring right now, and that makes it really hard for new grads to break in. On top of that, more than 40% of grads are working jobs that don't even require a degree, and a lot of people are blaming AI, but the bigger issue right now is that it's just a slowdown in hiring overall. So if it feels harder than expected, it's not just a reflection of you, it's the market right now.